All right, guys. We have Unfaithful. Came out in 2002, rated R, 2 hours and 4 minutes. So the film surrounds Connie Sumner, who's played by Diane Lane. She isn't really happy with her marriage. And obviously that kind of goes with the saying with the title being Unfaithful. Now, the film starts off real quick. We get introduced to her and her husband, Edward, who's played by Richard Gere. And she's trying to get everything ready for a party. Well, it's a very windy day in New York, and she ends up being introduced to this guy. Now, everything kind of goes to the wayside. He's very nice. She's very nice. She goes home, and she tells her husband, hey, I ran into this guy, yada, yada, yada. Ends up being a turning point in this film where she decides that she wants to reconcile with this guy, learn more about him. And that's when all the shit hits the fan, and she ends up going with a full-on affair. I'm not going to tell you anymore because, honestly, this film will give it away the minute that I say it. So, now, what can I tell you about this film? I can tell you that the actors are good. The story has a nice, smooth transitioning between scenes, and it's very realistic. The jealousy, the reasoning as to why she's even cheating in the first place. It's very realistic. She doesn't feel wanted. But the film, it's kind of like you sit there and you're wondering, how doesn't he find out sooner? I don't know. I feel like there could have been more of a suspense aspect to this. But I want to thank Bella for mentioning that I should watch this because it was one of the films that I've owned that I haven't watched before. And even though I'm kind of going bland on this film, I don't regret watching it. Just because if you see how her and this lovely guy, I don't want to say his name because I'm pretty sure I'm going to butcher it. But anyway, like I said, it's an action-packed film. There's a lot of sex in it. There's a lot of, you're kind of just blowing your mind as to why Edward didn't figure this out beforehand. Well, guess what? He's too busy. Now, the ending kind of sucked, but at the same token, this film, taught me that, there's a lot of realism, especially with marriages, and just because you've been with somebody for so long doesn't mean you should stop the magic. IMDb gave it a 6.7 out of 10. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Like I said, great film, and teaches you a lot of lessons that you need to be remembered no matter how long you've been married. Sadly, there is no place to stream this, so if you find a way to watch it or if you've seen it before, let me know what you think.